Okay, well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Willow Run Farmstead. Thank you all for joining us here today as we recognize National Women's History Month and the United Nations International Year of the Woman Farmer, and to celebrate the women who help drive Pennsylvania agriculture forward every day. As both a farmer and Deputy Secretary of Agriculture, it's a real privilege to be here today on the farm. Agriculture is an industry built on partnership within families, across communities, and throughout the food system. And for generations, women have been central to that work. Being here on Deanne's farm during Women History Month means a lot to me. Knowing Deanne and being on the ground myself, although I grew up on a Christmas tree farm and hay farm in Connecticut, I'm a first-generation Pennsylvania farmer. And I did not inherit land, but that did not stop me. So after my time in Peace Corps in West Africa, I found land up in the Poconos. The land chose me. And I learned to farm, though, right here in Berks County. So happy to be back in Berks County. Along the way, I've been so inspired and really guided by so many women, some of them being here with us today. Every season we plant seeds for the future, and today we are celebrating the women who are helping agriculture grow strong. It's truly an honor to celebrate these women today and the past that they are creating for the next generation. Today's event is about recognizing that leadership and highlighting the ways Pennsylvanians are investing in the future of women in agriculture. We're especially grateful to be here today with Deanne Weber, owner of Willow Run Farmstead, who utilized a farm vitality grant to help sustain and transition this third-generation farm. Her story reflects the kind of innovation, stewardship, and determination that we see from women farmers across Pennsylvania. Today, you will hear about the impact women are having across agriculture and the food system, and how the Shapiro administration is working to support farmers, strengthen rural communities, and invest in the next a generation of agricultural leaders. With that, it is my deep pleasure and honor to introduce Deanne. Deanne.
Welcome to Willow Run Farmstead. It is an honor to have all of you here today. As a little girl, I grew up on this farm, raising chickens, sheep, and spending so much time outside. I grew up with every acre, rock mound, tree, and stream as my playground. I loved the land, but when I looked around me at who was working the land, I saw men, tractors, and equipment. So I became a librarian. But the land kept calling to me, and I started reading new ideas, ways of farming that looked at the farm as an ecosystem. Regenerative practices that tied the health of the soil to the plants, to the animals, to the people. And I was hooked. So I left my librarian job and began partnering with different organizations. NRCS and Stroud Water Research Center came alongside me and my father to plan and implement our grazing system, including our forested riparian buffer, cattle stream crossing, fence system, and buried water lines. I began attending PASA Sustainable Agriculture conferences and events and soaked in as much information as I could, learning from mentor women farmers ways to improve my practices. My father worked alongside me to help me learn how to use basic tools, drive tractors, and work with cattle. And my business grew from nothing to 50 head of cattle and grass-fed beef direct marketed to customers within my local community. In 2021, after years of working toward this goal, my parents successfully transferred ownership of the farm to me. PA FarmLink and the PA Farm Vitality Grant were instrumental in making that process smooth and relieving the financial stress of that process. So when I look back over these years of what it means to be a woman farmer, it means community building, partnership, innovating in spaces that were not historically built for me, learning from women who have come before. Each summer, the local library brings a crowd of parents and children to our farm for an event featuring our farm and our practices. So what are these children learning when they come to our farm? That anyone can be a farmer, that there is no one right way to farm, that they could be farmers. So thank you for being here today. And it is my pleasure to introduce Secretary Redding.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Honor to be here, and I can't think of a better place if you're going to talk about agriculture, to talk about the future, to talk about diversity, to talk about women, than here at this farm. And just want to say, particularly appreciate the note of the partnerships that have been acknowledged. I mean, this is one of the subtexts of this day, is that you can't look around at this farm and, quite frankly, any farm without appreciating all of the partners, and particularly our local government leaders in township. And Commissioner, always good to see you. It's good to be in Berks County. I appreciate what Berks does and the county does at large. To have their own Department of Agriculture, to have their own Secretary of Agriculture, right? That's impressive. Sure. That's right here. But to say, this is a wonderful story because it's also a story about preservation. It's a story about somebody who has taken initially a different path but found their calling here. And to come back and bring all of those ideas and thoughts of maybe a non-traditional route to get to this farm and now look at it. So this is certainly a wonderful story about Women's History Month and the United Nations International Year of the Women's Farmer. As an additional context, you have This Is America 250. Right, and I think about the stories that we tell across time, and you can tell that story a lot of different ways, but ultimately this is a story about people and what they've done both to sort of bring us to this point in our nation, but also the people and their own personal stories about the trials and tribulations, the journey. So I love this story because you can tell many different success stories, but also the challenges that come with it. This is not easy. Whether it's the conservation work or just the business part of getting to this moment. And we have a tendency to talk about agriculture in terms of acres and bales and bushels and markets and economics. And that's certainly part of the story, important part of the story. But it's also about the people who are in this business, and particularly the women who are part of the story and at the heart of this story. I know firsthand. I always want to start with thanking my wife, Nina, who through this journey of agriculture and public service, she has always been there. But her accomplishments are also her own. It's the work that she did as part of Penn State Extension. It's the work that she has done as a community leader and a voice in our church. It's the bright light that she is during the hardest days. That is what she does. And I'd be remiss if I didn't hear in this spring of this year that we are really anxious to have her back as the baler operator. She had a challenge last year, so those who know her know that she's a great supervisor and baler operator on our farm. But you see it here as well in Senator Judy Schwank, and I'll say more in the introduction of her. But somebody who, there's grassroots of a master gardener, right, who comes to the table of public service, but also her concern about rural communities, her agricultural policy work, and all of the issues that are facing agriculture in the community today. We see it in the Department of Agriculture. Right, I am lucky. I mean, I say every day that to have folks around me who are really talented people. They are women leaders. I mean, you've got Heidi and Lisa here. We've got Sarah and Grace and Ashley and a team of people every day who bring those great perspectives to the table. More than half of the employees of the Department of Agriculture are women. These folks are researchers and scientists and inspectors and folks who really are talented at their work as leaders in the department and in their own field. And also working behind the scenes to protect sort of the food supply and support our farms and conserve our natural resources and make sure that Pennsylvania agriculture continues to thrive. And of course, the story of women in agriculture goes far beyond the government. We see it here today. It's the farmers managing operations like Deanne. It's the farm workers who we have had the privilege of meeting across the years and their skill and dedication to help bring those crops to the table. It's the food system leaders. We have Heidi here, of course, and certainly Hannah, who you'll hear from. The people running the food banks, managing supply chains and building local food networks and connecting farmers with consumers. It's the educators who introduce students to agriculture for the first time. It's the leaders of farm organizations and conservation groups and civic and association organizations. They're all part of this network. And the amazing group of volunteers. Right, we see it every day. We've had the privilege of being with many of our folks who are volunteering their time in agriculture. We saw it recently in the fairs, and there's not a fair in Pennsylvania that works without the volunteers. They're part of that. 35% of Pennsylvania's farm producers are women as well. And certainly noted by Heidi, but the Farm Vitality Grant I think is worth pointing out. We did that as part of our PA Farm Bill several years ago, 2019, and still stands as the only farm bill, state-level farm bill in the nation. And it was done very intentionally. It was done in recognition of the significance of agriculture in our state, but also that there were things that we had to focus on as a state. Things like farm transitions, making sure we could engage and bring the professionals to the table to help get that job done, right? It's making sure that we had a plan for the future. And it's not by, accident. This is not coincidental. It's really about a commitment that the state has made, and I'm very proud to be part of this administration who has put agriculture at the very top of that list of priorities for both our state and our nation as well. So a note of thanks to Governor Shapiro for his work. He understands very much we have to invest in the people, the education, and the leadership in farm planning and many, many other things to be able to stand here on a preserve farm in Berks County and talk about the future with somebody who's leading the way, has got her own vision and her own thoughts, but putting all of that to work to make sure that we're also mentoring other people. So thank you for what you do, Deanna, to this family. Thank you for that commitment. I noted Senator Schwank earlier, and I just want to say that all of those skills and qualities of an extension educator and horticulture and a master gardener show through. They're patient. She's a wonderful listener, but she's also somebody who turns that into action. And that's been a really beautiful thing to work with her, from hunger issues to land preservation and all of this stuff in between. So it's an honor any day to be with her in the legislature in Pennsylvania, particularly in Berks County. So Senator, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Boy, I hope somebody was recording that. That sounded so good, Secretary. Thank you. Thank you so much. I see such a paradigm shift in agriculture, not just here in Berks County or in the Commonwealth, but throughout this entire country. I serve on a national organization, State Agriculture and Rural Leaders, and predominantly there are women in the seats of leadership that are doing the work, that are helping to set the stage for the future of agriculture all over this country and actually in the world as well. It's interesting, this being here today takes me back to a little bit of my own personal history. When I started studying horticulture at Penn State, which by the way was with Deanne's uncle, Leon. We were in the same class together. When I sat down in my first soils course, the professor said to me, "What are you doing here?" There were very, very few women that were actually engaged in agriculture. And over the years, we have been, but to actually be at the table in terms of the education and science of agriculture, it was limiting. But there's been such a paradigm change, such a difference. And Deanne, of course, is the face of that. And I want you to think about the fact that here we are at a farm. This is cutting edge technology. While some of us may be thinking, well, gee, we always used to have plantings along stream beds, or we've always had trees in pastures to help shelter animals. But there's a science behind this. And Deanne and her family have taken this to a level that I think this will be a model for us to look at over many, many years. And I asked the question about whether neighbors are starting to adopt this. That's the thing about agriculture, and what I learned in Extension, Secretary, is that you demonstrate to people what works. And then when they can see that there is an impact, and a positive one, they'll take note and they'll adopt some of those practices as well. So today I congratulate everybody that's here, but I'm particularly proud to be here with the exception of you, Secretary, a group of women behind me, but you're a supporter, so you're okay. These are women that are making such a huge difference in agriculture, and there are so many more that aren't here. You look at our agriculture education departments in our high schools in Berks County, many of them are led by women as well. So we are not just partners, but being a partner is a good thing. That's okay. But we are the leaders. We are the major partners who are helping to make agriculture what it is in this Commonwealth. So I thank all of you for the work that you do. And I'm particularly proud to introduce the next person because she's a great example of what I mean. Hannah Smith Brubaker is the executive director of PASA, the Pennsylvania Sustainable Agriculture Association. And the thing about PASA and Hannah is that Hannah, is a farmer herself, but also had worked in the Department of Agriculture. I think that's when I first met her. But in her leadership at PASA, she is helping people like Deanne, who are interested in starting in agriculture. Maybe they didn't inherit a farm. Not everybody starts farming that way. That's the old paradigm. The new paradigm is that there are others who can get engaged in agriculture, sometimes on very limited acreage or no acreage, in fact, and are yet helping to make a difference in our food system. You are a supporter, you're an educator, and a cheerleader, Hannah, and I'm proud to have you here and invite you to the podium.
Thank you, Senator. You're so kind. Yeah, I do stand before you today not only as the executive director of PASA, but as a sheep farmer, and I am looking forward, Deanne, to debriefing about some of the things you mentioned this morning that are also a problem in my pasture. So, Deanne, thank you so much for having us here today. Farms like us remind us, farms like this remind us that agriculture is not just about production. It's about stewardship, it's about family, and it's about community. Deanne's willingness to open her farm and share her work helps connect people more deeply to the land and the farmers who care for it. Before coming to PASA, I had the privilege to serve as Agriculture Deputy Secretary with Secretary Redding. And while I believe that Pennsylvania has never had a woman Secretary of Agriculture, we can talk about that in the future, it actually makes it very meaningful that we have a secretary who is deeply committed to supporting women in the agricultural workforce and to recognizing days like today and farmers like Deanne. Deanne's engagement with PASA has run deep. She's a long-term soil health benchmark study collaborator, a participant in our silvopasture study. She has coordinated women in ag spaces at our conference, including one called Battle Axes Unite. And early on with the American Farmland Trust through the Women for the Land learning circles. So today we're celebrating both Women's History Month and the United Nations Year of the Woman Farmer, and it's a powerful moment to reflect on the leadership that women are bringing to agriculture. Women farmers are playing a critical role in building resilient farms and food systems across Pennsylvania. From managing day-to-day operations to making key business and conservation decisions, women are driving innovation and growth in agriculture, supporting farmers through education, mentorship, collaboration, and smart public investments helps ensure that women entering agriculture today have the tools, resources, and opportunities to succeed. These efforts strengthen not only the individual farms, but also contribute to thriving rural communities and a sustainable food system for generations to come. At PASA Sustainable Agriculture, we see this reality every day. Women are leaders within our membership. In fact, over half of our farmer membership are women farmers. More than half of our farmer-led educational events are led by women. More than 50% of our farmer attendees at our conference are women farmers. More than 50% of our apprentices in our programs are women farmers. And more than 50% of the host farmers who host these apprentices are also women farmers. And internally, we're proud that over 75% of PASA's staff are women, many of them also farmers themselves, supporting farmers through education, research, and technical assistance across the region. When women farmers succeed, the benefits ripple outward to healthier soil, stronger rural economies, and more resilient food systems. So today is both a celebration and a commitment to supporting farmers like Deanne, and then in turn, all the other farmers that she supports. A commitment to ensuring the next generation of women farmers has access to land, capital, mentorship, and community. And a commitment to building a food system that works for farmers, families, and future generations. So thank you all for being here today, and thank you for supporting the incredible women who are growing the future of agriculture. Now I would like to introduce Kim.
Thank you. Very nice.
The nice thing about going towards the end of the agenda is there's not too much left I have to say, other than certainly from a Berks County perspective, thank you to the Secretary and his staff and for everyone coming out here, again, to recognize that it's Women's History Month and the UN's Year of the Woman Farmer. One of the previous secretaries, deputy secretaries, always made a comment that the way for farms to stay farms and the key to preservation is actually profitability. I think Deputy Secretary Cook always said that. So we certainly appreciate the efforts of the state that they've put forth into the next generation farm loans, our cooperating agencies. We talked about Stroud, a private, Berks Nature, another private, NRCS, FSA, and all the cooperation we get. This farm is one of 850 parcels in our Berks County Agricultural Conservation Easement Program. We are so proud to take part in this event and get the opportunity to recognize the next wave of women in our ag industry. Ag in Berks County is $1 billion industry. And we're so fortunate to have strong women leadership within our county. Certainly Senator Schwenk, through all her roles, to have leadership in our state, as behind me with Heidi and Hannah. And Deanne is a shining example of what our next wave of farmers, female farmers, are with her whole farm approach. Again, the idea that PASA is able to help provide guidance and that she passes that guidance on to the next generation of farmers. It's just a great example, from the care of her grass-fed beef to the improvements of soil health to the water quality that she addresses here to help her neighbor downstream. That just gives an overall positive perspective to agriculture, gets farmers and non-farmers to appreciate what they have in their communities. Her vision is all-encompassing, which is wonderful. She uses social media, something I'm horrible at, to share her story. I've said, I don't know how many times I've been on this farm. Her willingness to open up her doors to anyone. She's talked about the library that comes out. I know she goes to schools. If the Schuylkill Action Network comes out and asks another local-led group, always willing to open her doors, her and her family. That's just outstanding, to teach people again what agriculture truly is. So very briefly, we thank her and appreciate again having us here. Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks to her family, and thanks to all the women who make agriculture an important part of Berks County, the state, and the nation. And I'll turn it back over to Secretary Redding.
Good. Well said, Kim. Thank you. And again, a note of thanks to the Willow Run Farm and Deanne and the team. Thank you for what you do and sharing that and your willingness to just sort of teach us a bit about the journey, but also the work and really sort of amazing sort of practices and process. And I appreciate talking about the stewardship that Hannah noted and just the commitment. As everybody knows, if you're in this business of agriculture, this is not something you take lightly, right? It's the work, it's the effort of a lot of people. So just a note of thanks to each of you for what you do. We celebrate today, certainly all the women who have come before us. We celebrate the women who are leading us today, like you see here. And we're also celebrating the young women who are also preparing to shape the future of agriculture here in Pennsylvania. So with that, I'd like to present a proclamation from Governor Shapiro recognizing the United Nations General Assembly's work to acknowledge the International Year of the Women Farmer. Many of these statistics have been noted. As everybody knows, inside of a proclamation, you've got about 6 whereases, and you get one really important therefore, right? So I am going to the therefore. So therefore, Josh Shapiro, as governor of Pennsylvania, hereby proclaim 2026 the International Year of the Women Farmer. And he acknowledges all Pennsylvanians, agricultural partners, public agencies, educational institutions, and communities throughout Pennsylvania to join in recognizing and supporting the leadership, ingenuity, and indispensable role of women in agriculture. And given this day, Governor Josh Shapiro. I will present this to Deanne on behalf of the administration, on behalf of all of us for the work that you're doing for hosting and all that you do to lead us. Thank you. All right?
Thank you.
Let me just present it to you. Right? Come on up. Yeah, thank you.
A whole group.
Yeah, whole
Oh,
group.
come in.
Yeah, that's good. You want to say anything to wrap it up?
no.
No? Okay. All right. All right. But with that, thank you. We honor the women. We honor the good work of agriculture. Thank you. Okay.
Secretary.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, let me join this.
Organization called Trees for Grazers. I planted fast-growing willows. I planted poplars. Let's see, what else do I have? I have a hybrid white oak that will drop large. And so those were, Dad, 14 feet. I can never remember that number. They were 14 feet when we stuck them in the ground by like 3 feet down. And so those were planted in 2023. And so the shade that this provides is very, very important for them to keep helps me with weight gain with them, but it also helps with just their overall health. The more we can keep, the better. So this is a huge part of my system here. And we'll walk. Have any questions about it? Other farms that have like goats or sheep or that kind of thing, and they have a totally different way of managing because it's a different animal. Everyone I need here right now, right?
I like see? Is there another Willow Run in Burton?
Maybe.
That's what you want to
Yeah, okay.
But that's pretty cool.
That'll be my job this afternoon. That's number one.
And today we are celebrating the women who are helping agriculture grow strong. It's truly an honor to celebrate these women today and the past that they are creating for the next generation. Today's event is about recognizing that leadership and highlighting the ways Pennsylvanians are investing in the future of women. Her story reflects the kind of innovation, stewardship, and determination that we see from women farmers across Pennsylvania. Today, you will hear about the impact women. It is my deep pleasure and honor to introduce Deanne. Deanne.
Welcome to Willow Run Farmstead. It is an honor to have all of you here today.
Their own Department of Agriculture, to have their own Secretary of Agriculture, right? That's impressive. That's right here. But to say, this is a wonderful story because in bales and bushels and markets and economics, and that's certainly part of the story, important part of the story. But it's also about the people who are in this business, and particularly the women who are part of the story, that they're really the heart of the administration, on behalf of all of us, for the work that you're doing for hosting and all that you do to lead us. Thank you. All right? Say anything? Wrap it up? No? Right. With that, thank you. We honor the women. We honor the good work of agriculture. Thank you.